I'd like to introduce you to a piece of software that builders and estimators absolutely love. In fact, anyone who has got to do pricing from building plans absolutely loves it. This piece of software is called Planswift, and basically the biggest problem with current measurement and quoting scenarios and estimation scenarios in building is that you've actually got to physically measure them. So you've got guys with these huge plan tables, they've got these A1 or A0 size plans, and they're there with a ruler and a compass and a calculator taking all of these measurements, and then they've got to apply that to all of their pricing schedules, which could be updated all the time, and then they've got to come up with their quote. Now, for example, a client of mine is a concreter, and he would spend 2 hours per quote. So he would win 1 out of every 3 quotes, which means that to do 3 jobs in a week, he is quoting 18 hours in the week. Now, I don't know about you, but most self-employed people or small business people that I know don't tend to do quoting during the day. That happens all after hours. So after he's worked his 50-hour week, he's now doing 18 hours of quoting on top of that, which means he maybe gets to introduce himself to his family, once every couple of weeks. So with Planswift, we've been able to cut that down from 2 hours a quote to roughly 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on the complexity of it. Right off the bat, that has saved him 15 hours a week, which he gets to spend with his family or actually doing something that he enjoys doing. So let's take you through to Planswift. So Planswift is a piece of software that allows you to take measurements on the screen and to allocate costs to those measurements via some parts. So you can predefine all of these parts. So for example, if you have a standard concrete slab that's so deep and so thick and you use a certain amount of reinforcement, you can define all of this in this part of the screen, and it allows you to create an estimate from your measurements. So let's take some measurements. Now, what we've got here is we've got our complete site plan, and what we want to do is we want to measure different parts of it. So say for example you're a concreter and you've got to measure some of this area where it's all it's not in straight lines. Here's how we do it on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. Alright, so now I'm going to choose a new area and I'm going to call this funny roundabouty kind of thing. Funny round-ish thing. Alright. And we are just going to trace around. So if I click on there and I go send data, that's telling me that the total area is 36 meters square. The total lineal meters, so all the outside, so if you need curved timbers, say for example if you're a concreter, if you need some curved timbers, your total lineal meters is 43.55. There are 405 little points, and in this instance the quantity is the same as the area. So right there we've just done, in all of about 30 seconds or so, an area which is fairly difficult. So from this we've got our area, okay, and we've got our lineal meters, etc. Now, how much is it going to cost us to do this work? Well, over here in the parts area, we've got some concrete parts already in there. So it's a concrete slab, and we assume that it's going to be 4,500 psi, and so we can drag that onto there. But not only that, you can say, well, hang on, what's our rebar? What's our reinforcement? So we're going to go and drag that onto there as well. All right, we know the rebar stock length in feet is 20 feet. Grid is 15. The price per per each one is we're going to say 20. Hasn't worked it out. 20 bucks. And now when we come to here, we're just going to stick this back down the bottom. So in the estimating, the rebar, we've only got 4, so we only need 4 of those sheets to match that area. So $20 each, there's our price of $80, and the total for the funny roundish thing is $95 to this point. But you know what, we want to add in some rebar ties as well. And we're going to say there's no waste, so it's calculated that we need 29 to fit in there. So right then and there, you've done a really quick estimate of something which would normally take a fair amount of time to measure.
And guesswork, yeah?
And guesswork, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Now, as good as Planswift is in reducing your time in quoting, we thought it could be better, because one of the things that a lot of building contractors prefer is they love their pens. You know, you see them, they walk around with their pens in their pockets or over their ears or whatever. They love their pens. So we thought, how could we make the measurement and quoting process as close as possible to the original thing? We looked around and we found a Wacom interactive pen display, 22 inches, and the benefits of it are that you can use it with just one hand. You can stand it up like that, right? But that's a bit hard to write on. Or you can lie it down at an angle like a plan table, and then basically you can just manipulate it as if you were using a plan table. So for example, you can click and drag your plans, you know, drag them around the screen like that. You can zoom in. Yep, you can use it with a keyboard to create wonderful things like the magnifying glass, so that you can get right in on top of the things that you need to use. Now, the beauty of the Wacom interactive pen display is that it behaves exactly like a tablet PC. So what does that mean? Well, let's have a look at how that works in Planswift. In Planswift, you can actually put notes onto your plans. So that's cool. We say we need a note right there, but a lot of builders aren't really flash with typing. That's okay, because and here we can click on there and we can write it in. This is a very important note. Yep. Insert that. Click OK. There we go. This is a very important note. Right. So that means that anyone else looking at that can see that and behave appropriately. Now, how easy was that?